Anyway, the big news is coming out of Colombo from the SSC. 102-run victory for Pakistan.
Yeah. I mean, it just showed that it is all mental when it comes to Pakistan. I mean, they somehow have this mental block against India that they just can't seem to win. Otherwise, against the minnows and all of them, they've absolutely romped home this time, except against the Netherlands. Against the US, no, US they were in a bit of trouble, but they bounced back. No, they were in control.
Is it mental versus an interesting point to make that versus India, it's all mental?
I don't think so.
It is mental.
I think there is a stark difference in class.
Yeah, I think it's skill quality also.
Skill quality.
It's easy for Sahibzada Farhan to hammer all other players like he wants
Is
to.
the documentary now coming?
No, documentary is secondary. I mean, I don't know. I'm just
Well, they could be feasting on today's win for all you know.
See, credit where credit is due. They played well again.
Yeah.
It was a do or die game for them, and winning by 102-run margin, a convincing win. They'll take all the positives from this game. They've ticked a lot of. I mean, two of their spinners picking up 7 wickets.
Usman
Tariq picking up 4, and I must say that we hadn't seen much of him before the India game. He had a decent outing versus India too. Picked up 1 wicket. Economy also very good, 6 and over. Didn't get hammered, and now to pick up 4 wickets. So he's not all hype. There is something that he brings to the table, definitely, and I'm not surprised because sometimes we hadn't been accustomed to him. But as you remember in our previews, Harbhajan Singh had spoken about saying that I've seen him a lot in IL T20. He's a good bowler. He has variation. So again, him having taken 4 wickets again. I'm not comparing them to what might happen versus India. I don't think anything that they've done can be compared to what will happen against India. So to your point, I don't know whether it's mental, even if it is mental to an extent, but I think majority of it is because there's a huge difference in scale. I mean, Usman Tariq can take 4 wickets of Namibia batters, but I don't think he'll be able to do that versus India. Or for that matter, Sahibzada Farhan getting this, he feasted on some of the bowlers. You don't get those kind of deliveries from Indian bowlers also.
Yeah, I mean, Sahibzada Farhan gave you, barring his ridiculous celebration that he had in the Asia Cup, did give an account of him that yes, he can tackle the Indian paces also.
In fact, before that India game, had played 3 matches versus India, had 2 50s and a 40.
Yeah.
So he's not been that bad. But see, that also reiterates this point. I mean, as I said, for Pakistan, they might say, okay, we've ticked a lot of boxes, we're looking good. But now, truth be told, their bowling wasn't so much of a problem. Everyone knew, even when you were playing against India, batting is the issue, right? But even now, what does this tell you about this batting? I think even before the India game, I was saying, when is it that Pakistan can challenge India? Maybe on a day that Sahibzada Farhan has a good day, where he gets those 60-70, maybe you're in with the chance. What has changed now? You've done well, also on a day that Sahibzada Farhan has had a good day. Na? Yeah. So is your batting, everyone else telling you that they are a good batting unit? No. I think a good batting unit is like a batting unit like India, where if it's Suryakumar Yadav or Ishan Kishan or Shivam Dubey or someone else stepping out. In Pakistan's case, you've learned nothing new versus the Namibia win. You knew this before the Namibia game started. You know it now that their batting is entirely dependent on Sahibzada Farhan. He fires, they win. If he doesn't fire, you not.
I mean, it's more like what you've been seeing with Afghanistan as well. If Gurbaz and the other one, if they fire, they're good. Otherwise, they've struggled.
They struggle. I mean, when you look.
But in Afghanistan's case, their lower order also not bad, like
Nabi
and Rashids of the world.
Then there is.
But still not a very good.
Yeah. But I'm saying a lot about how they fare in a match depends on if the runs come from the opening pair or not. Heavily reliant.
I mean, look at what they did in the tactics today. Look at what. Did Shaheen Afridi bowl? No, he wasn't picked at all. Did Babar Azam come out to bat? No.
But see, I'll tell you what, I think that was tactical. See, Pakistan realizes there's a role for Babar, and that role is when there is a collapse, he's the one who's supposed to steady the ship. Now, many may laugh over that because that's exactly what was expected out of him in that India game. The kind of shot that he played after 9 runs had already come in that over gives you no sign that he's doing the job that he's asked to do. But it's a clear cut. That's why they've kept him. Otherwise, if you're going to have this sort of a batting effort when they have a good start, everyone's got a good strike rate, then I agree. There's no space for Babar to then come and bat. But I think there is some utility of Babar for Pakistan. It's on a day where you're 30 for 3. And then you expect that he holds one end up, like what Tilak on occasion does for India. And everyone else then
rallies
plays
around.
the attacking a role. I think that's the role for Babar.
That is the role.
Otherwise, after the shot that he played versus India, they were clamoring for him being
To be axed.
chucked out. But
But-
they're not chucked out.
Yeah.
Babar means that they see him perform
Yeah.
that role.
Again, why do I say mental? Look at Fahim Ashraf, he bowled. You needed Fahim Ashraf more than Shaheen Afridi in Colombo with his cutters. He didn't get a single ball.
Actually, in fact, this, from Pakistan's point of view, this is a better lineup for them.
Yeah.
Where you can then, especially in spin-friendly conditions, and they're going to be playing in Colombo. Even if they reach the semis or the finals, which I mean is very far, but if they have to, their ideal scenario should be this only. Fahim Ashraf should be the second fast bowler. One fast bowler, Naseem Shah or Mirza. One
Yeah.
of them has to be there. And majority of their spinners, I think what they did well was Abrar going out. And you got that Nafe in
Nafe.
So what that did is, actually now they bat deep. They bat in number 9. The batting is still number 9. The only one, Salman Mirza, Usman Tariq, only two
They
people
can't
who
bat.
can't bat. But so this actually, and yet they have spin bowling options. They've got spin bowling option in Shadab,
Nawaz,
Saeed Mayoob,
Shadab.
Nawaz,
And Tariq.
and Tariq. 4 spinners you already have.
Yeah.
4 spinners, 2 fast bowlers. I think you can. This is a better. It gives a slightly more all-round. Because Pakistan's batting so weak, they need that cushion. They need batting till night.
And
This
the
kind of
pitch.
covers up.
And the pitch, that success that they had against Australia prior to the start of the T20 World Cup came on spinning decks.
And
It was the spin that rattled the Aussies. That spin web was something they could just not contend with. They need to do exactly the same over here. These are conditions they must be extremely happy to be in, because if they were hypothetically playing on surfaces in India, or the kind of surfaces you're getting in India, if they were in Sri Lanka, then this philosophy wouldn't have worked. They really would have needed a fast bowler too over there, which they lack at the moment in terms of quality. Shine's not turned out to be the guy they thought they would have eventually. Naseem has been in and out of the side.
Naseem's been injured.
So
But
their biggest tool, their biggest threat is their spin.
in that Australia series, what did they do? They batted first on 2 occasions and they won comprehensively. Again, I say mental because there can be no other way by which in Colombo you bat second. If you had looked at the trends in the T20 World
No,
Cup,
but what do you mean by mental now? Now that you say, is it mental that they're not using
they are
the
not.
grey matter, or is it mental that you are under mental pressure? Because what you're saying about the toss is not about the mental pressure. It's about not using the grey matter.
It is.
So what are you
So
talking
what do you mean by mental?
Mental pressure is you are so spooked by India at this point.
So it's pressure.
But that, no, if you're saying pressure mental,
Your tactics are all over the place. then.
but
So much so that they goofed up at the toss.
that is the second mental bit, which is where you're not using the grey matter. That mental. What you are trying to say is that it is more about pressure. But in the pressure, you won't take that call. In fact, as I think, if you took a lot of pressure, then the safer option would be to bat first.
Bat first, yeah.
Because you can't chase. That's what I'm trying to say. If you have a mental block, is what you're trying to refer, that you don't know whether we can go past it yet, then common sense will tell you, you bat first, get whatever, because your stronger suit is your bowling. And then in the second half, try from your bowling to contain whatever they have and try and put pressure. See, look at Asia Cup in that sense, right? India were chasing, and
All three times.
it wasn't a great start, and they came close. They came close. It was an outstanding knock that Tilak played that day, but 35 or 5, India were under the pump, right? Game could have gone anywhere. That works for them. If you have mental block or mental pressure, why would you want to take your weaker suit in the second half and chase it down? Because that needs to do the big job, which is to, chase under pressure on a tough pitch. That is what you would do. So I think it's not the mental issue that you talk about, mental block. I think it is the mental issue of not using what's up here by taking. Who in the world? And again, I'm not saying it's hindsight. As soon as that happened, I was at the ground. I had a big smile on my face. Now, what have they done? I was listening to some commentary of Waqar and Wasim. I think they were also saying that.
What have you done?
What have you done? What have
Exactly.
you done?
That was the first
So
reaction.
their mental block nahi hai.
Mental gone. It's not a block,
That
it's
was a
gone.
bizarre decision. to
It
have
is,
taken.
of course.
Not that they would have fared much better, but I'm just saying they could have saved themselves the embarrassment of the kind of loss that they had this way. Had they batted first also, truth be told, I don't
Forget
think
about
they would have
130,
gotten
140
than 35
Yeah.
Sahibzada versus this
No,
Indian.
it's just
bowler.
around 16,
That-
17 then.
Yeah, and India would have chased it. It would have still lost convincingly, but I'm saying would have saved themselves the embarrassment of Mr. Naqvi having to leave 6 down. At least he would have stayed till the.
So
And-
Naqvi has reasons to leave in every single aspect. I mean, if he has to have a look at his own sports, I mean, not just cricket, in hockey also look at the embarrassment.
Disastrous.
Which
Shame.
begs the question.
Absolute shame.
And the thing is, the hockey captain is now reached Lahore. By the way, I don't know. They landed there, and everyone's talking about the press conference. I saw videos. There was not a single car that came to pick them up or a bus. They were
Uber.
booking
Ubers.
Ubers
Yeah,
and
yeah.
randomly. And in the Uber, some people could not afford that. He said, "How will you go?" He said, "Oh, he'll drop me." So somebody else who's booked an Uber said, "Okay, I'll drop you." So basically, Uber share.
Uber
not even
share,
Uber.
Pool.
They had to do a pool to be dropped, and then to hear their players saying that they were washing dishes, washing clothes. You've gone to play versus Australia, and I mean I can empathize with those players. Hockey is such a tiring sport. You play that 160-minute game. You need time to recovery. You're tired, sleep, and they'll have to go back, and they were washing their clothes and washing dishes and the food that they were eating. It's abysmal.
It's abysmal.
What's that?
Which is why I don't understand why.
And then they are threatening them that don't say this.
Yeah.
First they can't provide, their sarkar can't provide, and then the poor guy, they put the videos out, and then later I saw those videos of them and the sad conditions they were in, and then he issued a statement saying no, there's nothing true in this, we are absolutely fine, we got everything.
But they backtracked.
But he came
You
here
turn.
and, no, because he was threatened.
Yeah.
That you have to say, you have to backtrack because people in India are watching, they played that India card,
India card,
nationality card. Oh, Indians will make fun of us, don't say it. But he obviously could not bear it anymore. He came back and said, no, we were, that's even worse. One, you can't provide, that's one.
Then coercing.
And then you force them, yeah. Like, I'll give an example, we were talking about it. Like, there was a goof up in the AI summit when that university has done that.
Yes.
But rather than brush it under the carpet, what have you done? You have said, no, this was a, miss on our part. How did we allow a party like that? Please pack up your bags and leave.
Yes.
Rather than saying, no, don't say anything, don't show anything, brush it under the carpet. I mean, that's even worse. You're forcing your national team, hockey team, to threatening them that one, we're not providing anything, and now say
Also,
that you're okay.
Just look at the interpretation again. This should not be about how India looks at it. And why India for everything, boss? Look within. It's not just going to be India that's going to be, we're not having a laugh at them or anything like that. And
Which people will be. let's
see,
be
you
honest.
can.
Let's be
You
honest
can.
over there.
I'm just
laughing
saying.
at it. I'm loving it.
No, but
Because see,
I must say one thing.
under-
It's we need
No,
to shed this
I
thing.
also-
We need to shed this thing of looking into Pakistan. And Pakistan, I'll tell you why. We talked about India, Pakistan on the cricket field being at different planes, different class. In every walk of life, I say that. Again, back in school, I was chided for not getting enough marks or not being one of the top 3. I was never told, look at the one who's finished at the bottom and see how well off you've been. It's that difference. Again, why are we looking at somebody so inferior?
It's not about India. See, I agree from India's point of view. I think a lot of people say that as well. I loved what Javed Akhtar said one day, So somebody said about, about being very militant-like or, how do I say, quite radical in your religious thought. And, he said that, we also have to be like that in India. Because look, in Pakistan, if you did that, they would come after you if you said something against the religion or something. Well, it was an amazing comment by it. He said, why are you looking at Pakistan? You have a freedom here to say anything. And you are saying because wahan tum bologe to maar denge. And you are quoting that as an example. They should be quoting it as an example that here you can freely discuss anything you want. And that should be the greatness that we should be proud of in India rather than saying. But the point is, it's not about should India look at Pakistan. I think this is more about Pakistan looking at India,
That's
which
what
I don't blame. See,
their existence is based on that.
Not that. It's not about that. It's about always trying to aspire to be like India. See, they try to aspire to be like India because India is
an inferiority
doing
complex
much
that they are
better.
battling.
So they will try to be, we don't want to be embarrassed. Why don't we have an economy like this? Why don't we have, let's say, a cricket team like this? Why don't we have, by the way, again, as I said,
Then these are These are scars of partition then.
No, that's not. No, I'm not looking. I'm saying even if it was no
it's a
partition,
different.
It's got nothing to do with that, Harshit. I'm saying for Indians to look at Pakistan and draw inspiration sounds odd and funny. Why would you want to be inspired from a country that is running itself down? You don't want to be. But other hand, though, it'll always be there, na? Pakistan will always try to be inspired by India because everything they're doing right. So there's nothing wrong. So I'm saying from their point of view, if they said Indians will make fun of it, I can understand that. See, they're anyway quite
You
embarrassed.
have
with
other
their-
neighbors, you have other nations. We're looking at the West in so many aspects and so many things.
The West, so they can't aspire to right now. They have to
No,
deal with.
but they're dealing with the West so often when it comes to monetary matters. So might as well want to become.
They're not competing. They're getting money from them. Competing, they want to be at the same level, and there's an aspiration. You may like it or not. There's an aspiration, and I mean, for the sake of Pakistan, if they can aspire to be like India, they'll only do better, na?
Of
My point
course.
is that they'll only do better as a country if they can achieve the kind of democracy that we have or the setup that
You have,
History is repeating itself. I mean, when you look at it, 7 years ago, why couldn't Pakistan participate entirely in the Pro League? Because they ran out of funds. Midway through the tournament, they ran out of funds. Now, even when you look at the irony, if Pakistan couldn't have competed, New Zealand should have competed. But even New Zealand hockey don't have money. That's why they couldn't.
yeah, but at least they won't be washing their clothes and
They won't
they
be. They won't be.
They won't not have team hotels and be stranded.
That is the
At least
problem.
That will be there.
The Pro League is a very expensive tournament to run for two simple reasons. One, you've got 3 legs in different parts of the globe with different logistics. I mean, India now at home are finished. They are now, the only thing common with Pakistan is they are joint bottom with them.
quite literally, we got finished in
No,
this
but
leg.
that's also, see, the difference is, and see, your sport is a reflection of where you are as a country. By the way, Pakistan has a very rich hockey history.
Yeah.
They have 4 World Cups.
Most
India has
by
one.
any.
Okay, they have 4 World Cups. India has 1. They have 3 hockey gold medals as well. I know you'll compare it to India's 8, but remember, India won a lot of it when it was a combined India-Pakistan that played Olympic Games, and you won that. After independence, they won 3 gold medals as well, Pakistan, right? And till very recently, I'll say till about the early 2000s as well, they used to look like the much
5,
stronger
6.
team. After that, they've had a dip. So they have a rich hockey history, but now to reach a stage where they don't have any money, they can't afford a foreign coach. I believe they have an annual budget of something like 20 lakh Indian rupees. Annual budget. One tour will cost you that much.
Exactly.
Money. That's their annual budget. While as an Indian you enjoy Pakistan losing, but somewhere as a sport fan, your heart also goes out for any sportsman if he has to be dealt with like this, where he comes to the airport and is looking
at today is a day where we were looking at images of Rishabh Pant while he's recuperating and all. He was in a sprawling garden. He was relaxing. He was just coming back into his own, and that's just part of an athlete, right? How he manages to take care of himself. This is the kind of infrastructure, resources that you want any national level or an international level athlete to be having. It's a given, right?
That's because he gets the money from one IPL, which is 100 times more than the entire annual budget of the hockey team. Where are you comparing? Individual.
This is what
Money
you
that
want.
is-
This is what ideally players are washing utensils, etc., washing their own washrooms, making their own beds. When do you
As a sport lover, my heart goes out. I wish they can get decent facilities because everyone deserves that. Every national team deserves that. But I think it's their fault.
Yeah, I mean, the problem
it's
is
the same from that interview that we were all talking about
Of
of the captain
Ahmad, but
Ahmad. He says that it's the same syndrome.
Detailed story is up on Sports Today.
it is.
So
I mean,
people, for those of you who don't know exactly the context, you can see the story as well, which has sound bites, those visuals.
yes,
and
yes,
everything.
yes.